In the small town of Wyoming, Jonah Briggs worked tirelessly in his forge, hammering away at metal and shaping it into tools and weapons. He was a tall, sturdy man, with hands that bore the marks of hard work. But though he was skilled, something set him apart from others. Jonah had a severe stutter that often made communication difficult. This rendered him shy and withdrawn, drawing snickers and whispers from townsfolk who couldn't understand why someone so capable could also be the butt of jokes. As Jonah bent over his anvil, he would often hear laughter outside his workshop. Children mimicked his speech, and adults exchanged amused glances. Yet behind the closed door of his shop, Jonah's mind was a flurry of creativity. His true passion lay in gunsmithing, where he poured all his energy and ideas into crafting pieces that were both beautiful and deadly. Though he felt like an outcast, Jonah held on to the hope that one day his brilliance would shine through the shadows of his stuttering voice, revealing the genius that lay within. Jonah's workshop was a world of its own, filled with the sounds of clanging metal and the warm glow of the forge. The walls were adorned with shelves stacked high with tools of every kind: hammers, chisels, and mold-seach, one showing signs of heavy use. Alongside these tools lay half-finished inventions, hinting at Jonah's brilliance. There were intricately designed rifle parts that gleamed under the flickering light, showcasing his talent as a gunsmith. Despite the laughter from outside, Jonah found solace in this cluttered space, where creativity flowed like molten steel. He meticulously shaped each piece, envisioning how they would fit together in a masterpiece. Some items were prototypes, discarded and forgotten, yet others held promise. His sketches, pinned haphazardly to the walls, depicted ideas for a custom rifle that could change the fate of his town. Though the townsfolk may have laughed at his stutter, they had no idea of the genius brewing in this workshop. Jonah worked tirelessly, pouring his heart into every creation, determined to let his talent speak louder than any mockery ever could. The town of Wyoming was a small, close-knit community where everyone knew each other's names. Children played in the dusty streets, while neighbors exchanged friendly greetings as they tended to their gardens or gathered at the local general store. The townsfolk took pride in their unity, sharing both joys and sorrows in a place where kindness was as common as the prairie grass. However, a dark shadow loomed over this peaceful town. Rumors began to spread about a ruthless gang that had been terrorizing nearby settlements, leaving destruction in their wake. Whispers of fear swept through the community as stories of thefts and violence reached their ears. Families locked their doors earlier each night, and laughter turned into anxious chatter. With every passing day, tension grew among the townspeople, who felt increasingly vulnerable. They shared uneasy glances, worried about what might happen next. In this atmosphere of uncertainty, Jonah's quiet determination became even more important, for he could sense that his moment to help his beloved town was drawing near. As fear gripped Wyoming, hope rested on the shoulders of an unlikely hero. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over Wyoming, Jonah began to take note of the gang's activities from a distance. He often found a discreet spot behind a stack of crates or nestled among the trees, watching as the rough men rode through town on their horses, laughing and boasting about their misdeeds. Each time he observed them, he jotted down details in a small leather-bound notebook he kept hidden in his pocket. Jonah sketched designs for a custom rifle that could stand against the gang's threats. He envisioned features that would enhance accuracy and power, drawing inspiration from the weapons he had studied throughout his life. His hands moved quickly, capturing the curves and mechanisms that would make his creation exceptional. In those quiet moments of observation, Jonah felt a sense of purpose growing within him. The laughter of the townsfolk was fading in his mind, replaced by determination to protect them. As he refined his sketches, Jonah knew that soon he would transform his ideas into reality and rise to meet the challenge facing his beloved town. Jonah often thought of his friends and neighbors as he worked late into the night on his rifle designs. The faces of the townsfolk flashed in his mind, the baker who always offered him fresh bread, the children who played by his forge, and the elderly couple who shared stories of days gone by. Each familiar face reminded him of the bond he had with the community, and it filled him with a burning desire to protect them from the gang's terror. With every hammer stroke and every sketch made, Jonah's inner strength blossomed. He knew that beneath his stutter lay an unwavering resolve, the kind that would not allow fear to dictate his actions. Instead of shying away from danger, Jonah envisioned himself standing strong in defense of those he cared about most. The ridicule he faced from others faded into insignificance as he steeled himself for what lay ahead. He understood that courage was not the absence of fear, but the determination to act despite it. With each passing moment, Jonah grew more committed to transforming his imagination into reality, promising himself that he would be a guardian for his town when they needed it most. As night fell over Wyoming, Jonah's workshop transformed into a sanctuary of determination and creativity. The glow of the forge flickered like a heartbeat, illuminating his focused face as he worked late into the hours. With each strike of his hammer against the glowing metal, he felt a sense of purpose fueling his actions. Jonah meticulously forged metal parts for his custom rifle, shaping them with precision and care. The rhythmic sounds of clanging and striking filled the air, drowning out any doubts that lingered in his mind. He poured all his energy into this secret project, knowing that it held the key to defending his town from the gang's terror. He sketched out intricate designs on scraps of parchment, hiding them beneath worn leather covers when anyone approached. Jonah was aware of the prying eyes that might wonder what he was creating, and he preferred to keep his invention shrouded in mystery until the time was right. Each night he worked tirelessly, driven by the thought of protecting those he cherished, while imagining the difference his rifle could make against the looming threat. As the gang's attacks grew more frequent and violent, a heavy cloud of despair settled over the town of Wyoming. Residents began sharing worried glances instead of friendly greetings, and laughter faded into hushed conversations filled with fear. Once bustling streets became eerily quiet as families huddled inside their homes, locking doors and pulling down shutters against the dangers lurking outside. The bakery, once a gathering spot filled with chatter and warmth, saw fewer faces each day. The baker, who had always been quick to smile, now wore a frown etched with worry as he listened to the grim stories of the gang's latest raids. People whispered about leaving town, seeking safety elsewhere, but deep down, they longed for a way to fight back. In this atmosphere of growing hopelessness, Jonah felt an even deeper urgency to complete his rifle. He knew that his invention could provide the protection his friends and neighbors desperately needed. With each passing moment and mounting tension, he worked harder, fueled by the belief that hope could be restored through courage and his hidden genius. The weight of the town's fears pressed on him, pushing him closer to the brink of unveiling his creation. The tension in Wyoming reached a boiling point when the town held an urgent community meeting to discuss the gang's latest attack. Jonah's heart raced as he stood at the back of the gathering, wrestling with his fears of being ridiculed yet again. Voices filled the room, echoing worries and anxieties about what the future held. The once smiling faces of his friends now appeared haggard and defeated, fueling Jonah's resolve to bring them hope. He glanced at the rifle he had crafted, hidden beneath a tattered cloth in the corner of his workshop. It represented not just his skill, but also his commitment to protecting those he loved. The thought of their despair ignited a fire within him, pushing aside his trepidation. Finally, summoning every ounce of courage, Jonah stepped forward into view. The townsfolk quieted, their eyes falling on him with curiosity mixed with apprehension. He took a deep breath, feeling the familiar weight of his stutter rise within him, yet he pressed on. This was the moment he had been preparing, for he would unveil his invention and show them that even in the face of fear, hope could rise in unexpected ways. As Jonah unveiled his custom rifle, the room fell silent, and all eyes turned toward him with a mix of curiosity and anticipation. He pulled back the tattered cloth, revealing a beautifully crafted weapon that gleamed in the light. The townspeople gasped in unison, their initial skepticism giving way to awe as they took in the intricate details and flawless design. Jonah's heart raced as he watched their expressions shift from doubt to admiration. The baker's eyes widened with surprise, and the children whispered excitedly among themselves, pointing at the remarkable creation. For the first time, Jonah saw respect reflected in their gazes rather than ridicule. Whispers of admiration spread through the crowd as they examined the rifle's features. Its precision sights and sturdy construction showcased Jonah's exceptional skill as a gunsmith. No longer was he just the shy blacksmith with a stutter. He was now seen as a true craftsman, with a talent that could protect them all. In that moment, Jonah realized that his secret work had not only transformed metal, but also changed how his community viewed him. Hope began to flicker in their eyes, kindled by his courage to stand up against fear. The annual festival in Wyoming was a day of joy, filled with laughter and lively music as townsfolk celebrated their community. Colorful banners waved in the breeze, and delicious aromas wafted from food stalls, drawing everyone into a festive atmosphere. Children ran through the streets, while neighbors exchanged stories and enjoyed the temporary escape from worry. But as Jonah stood on the sidelines, absorbing the energy around him, a sense of unease washed over him. It was then his fears were confirmed as dark figures emerged on horseback, members of the gang they had all dreaded. Panic rippled through the crowd as people screamed and scattered, shoving tables aside and fleeing for safety. Jonah's heart raced. This was the very moment he had prepared for. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, he reached for his custom rifle, now a symbol of hope more than ever. The townsfolk looked to him with desperate eyes, realizing that their unexpected hero had risen just when they needed him most. Stepping forward, Jonah steadied himself, ready to defend his friends and neighbors against the looming threat that sought to ruin their celebration. With his custom rifle in hand, Jonah took a deep breath and steadied himself as chaos erupted around him. The gang members charged forward, brandishing weapons and shouting orders. But Jonah's focus was unwavering. He positioned himself behind the safety of a wooden cart, peering through the rifle's sights. As the first gang member approached, Jonah's heart raced, but his mind remained clear. With a steady hand, he pulled the trigger, and the shot rang out with precision. The bullet struck true, hitting the target squarely in the shoulder, causing the thug to cry out in surprise and pain. The townspeople gasped, witnessing the effectiveness of Jonah's invention. Emboldened by their newfound hope, more townsfolk joined him, gathering their courage. Jonah continued to fire expertly, each shot calculated and accurate. The gang members faltered as one by one they were forced to retreat under the relentless fire from an unexpected hero. The tide of fear shifted. Now it was the gang that was on the defensive. Jonah felt a surge of pride as he realized he was not just protecting his town, he was leading them to reclaim their freedom. As the dust settled and the last of the gang retreated, cheers erupted from the townsfolk, filling the air with a sense of triumph. Jonah stood amidst the crowd, still gripping his rifle, feeling a whirlwind of emotions. The townspeople rushed towards him, their faces lit with gratitude and admiration. The baker was the first to reach him, tears of joy welling in his eyes. "You saved us, Jonah. You were incredible," he exclaimed, clasping Jonah's shoulder firmly. One by one, others joined in, expressing their heartfelt thanks. Children danced around him, shouting his name as if he were a hero from their favorite stories. Old Mrs. Thompson approached with a warm smile. "We've always seen you as one of us," she said gently, "but today you showed us your true strength." In that moment, Jonah felt a profound shift in how he was perceived, a transformation from being the town's laughingstock to its respected protector. The laughter and ridicule were replaced by genuine appreciation and camaraderie. Together, they celebrated not only their victory over fear, but also the unity forged through adversity, with Jonah at the heart of it all. In the aftermath of the gang's defeat, Jonah reflected on how drastically his life had changed. No longer seen as the shy, stuttering blacksmith, he had risen to become a valued member of the community, a beacon of resilience and strength. The laughter that once accompanied his presence was replaced by genuine respect and admiration from those who had once mocked him. Jonah discovered that hidden talents could flourish even in silence. His craftsmanship and intelligence had allowed him to protect the very people who underestimated him. The experience taught him that true strength lies not just in physical ability, but also in the courage to embrace one's unique gifts. As he walked through town, receiving warm smiles and friendly pats on the back, he felt a newfound connection with his neighbors. The bond they shared had deepened through their collective struggle against fear and danger. Jonah's heart swelled with pride. He was no longer an outcast, but a key player in a united front against adversity. This journey had not only revealed his inner hero, but had also woven him into the very fabric of Wyoming, a testament to hope and perseverance. As celebrations echoed through the streets of Wyoming, Jonah stood amid the joyful crowd, reflecting on the journey that had brought him here. His transformation from an outcast to a respected member of the community served as a powerful reminder that hidden talents often lie beneath the surface. The townsfolk who once laughed at him now embraced his uniqueness and recognized the strengths that come from quiet resolve and inner strength. Jonah's story became more than just a tale of heroism. It became a testament to the importance of understanding and valuing everyone, regardless of their differences. He learned that those who may appear shy or withdrawn often hold untapped potential, waiting for the right moment to shine. As laughter and music filled the air, Jonah knew he would always champion inclusivity in his community, encouraging others to embrace their unique gifts. This newfound perspective not only enriched his life, but also fortified the bonds among neighbors, fostering an environment where every voice mattered. Together, they celebrated not just their victory, but also a deeper appreciation for each individual's contributions, a promise of unity and strength in their shared future.